The day when trees grew in just one day. It's great that people invented country houses, thought Polly, dipping a carrot in sugar. Dipping a carrot in sugar wasn't healthy, but it was very tasty. That's why her mom sometimes allowed it. The carrot crunched sweetly in her mouth. Outside was a bright, pleasant day, and through the open door she could see a luxurious currant bush with clusters of almost black berries hanging on it. Mom appeared in the yard with a bag in her hands and said almost the same thing Polly had been thinking to Dad. "How nice it is to have this country house. Otherwise, what would we do during this quarantine?" Yep, Dad agreed and dragged a log somewhere. Polly still hadn't decided. Was the quarantine good or bad? Not having to get up early for kindergarten was good. Not being able to go to the playground was bad. So, it's good to have a country house. There's quarantine here, but it's like it's not. Polly finished her piece of carrot, dipping it generously in sugar for the last time, and headed to the yard. There was a lot of interesting things going on. Grandma Liuda was mixing a solution. Dad was stacking boards. Mom was getting ready to paint something. So Polly, after petting the puppy, headed towards the currant bush. The berries were large and beautiful, greenish on one side and turning black on the other. Polly picked 3 berries, took a deep breath, and put them in her mouth. Her face immediately twisted into a sour grimace. After the sugary carrot, she hadn't expected such a turn. It was even worse than a lemon, and she knew all about lemons. "Mom, why are the currants so sour?" Polly asked sourly. "Because they are not ripe yet," Mom answered, sensing that the questions were just beginning. "When will they be ripe?" Polly continued. "In a few days," said Mom, and focused on painting the doors. "Why does it take so long? Why does everything grow so slowly and taste so sour?" Then Grandma appeared with a broom in her hands. She looked at her granddaughter's upset face. "What happened, little one? Why does everything grow so slowly? Why is everything so sour? Why can't the berries be small but already sweet?" Grandma smiled, put the broom on the ground and said, "Let's go sit on the bench for a bit, and I'll tell you about the time when, in just one day, all the trees grew, all the fruits ripened, all the grass sprouted, and all the flowers bloomed." Polly looked at her grandmother with interest and sat down beside her on the bench. "Long ago, God created our planet," Grandma began her story. I know," Polly interrupted. "Grandpa told me about the light, the rainbow, and what's it called? The atmosphere." "Probably the firmament," Grandma Luda suggested. Yes, the firmament," Polly confirmed. "So light was created by God on the first day, and the firmament on the second," Grandma continued. "And what I'm about to tell you happened on the 3rd day of creation. As you remember, God separated the water on the earth from the water above the atmosphere. And everywhere on our planet, small pieces of land emerged from the water, like little islands. And God decided it would be better if the land gathered into large pieces in one place and the water in another. He said, 'Let the land gather in one place.' And suddenly everything started moving. Large waves began to roll into their place, and the earth began to move from all sides to form a large continent. And when all this shifted, God called all the water that gathered together the seas, and all the land he called dry land. Grandma, what about the fish? Didn't they get hurt when the waves and the earth began to move? Polly interrupted again. No, they weren't hurt because they weren't there yet, Grandma answered, and continued. But the most interesting thing started happening next. God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, let trees grow, let flowers bloom." And you can only imagine what started happening. It was like some amazing miracle. The whole earth stirred. Grass stems began to sprout. And next to them, tree stems. Imagine a grass stem growing, and suddenly it's overtaken by a tree stem saying, "Excuse me, buddy, I need to grow faster. I need to reach a height of 100 meters. And the grass stem replies, "All right, go ahead. Say hi up there for me." Polly laughed. "Excuse me, buddy, I need to grow faster. All right, say hi up there for me." I really liked that conversation. "You do realize I was just joking," said Grandma Liuda. "But they grew very fast indeed. That was the only day in the history of our earth when a currant bush grew, bloomed, and bore ripe berries all in one day. Usually, we have to wait a long time for all of this to happen. But then, it all happened in just one day." Polly looked at her grandmother with dreamy eyes. It was as if Grandma herself had wrought all these miracles, or at least had witnessed them all, maybe even tasted those currant berries herself. "And take this apple tree, for instance," Grandma continued. "It's been growing here for 20 years. Your mom was just like you when we planted this tree. But on that third day of creation of our planet, it would have grown in just one day, and even treated us to delicious apples." "Grandma," Polly suddenly realized, "did the forest also grow in one day, so tall and dense?" "You know, trees have a very interesting feature," answered Grandma. "They grow all their lives. They gradually get taller, their trunks get wider and thicker, and their roots go deeper and deeper, where there is enough water. So, in one day, they grew enough to be called a forest, and then they continued growing." Grandma reached for the broom. It was time to get back to work. The solution had probably already set. Polly looked around once more. The sun was shining brightly in the sky. The apple tree rustled its leaves invitingly. The soft grass gently tickled her foot. The currant bush enticingly beckoned the girl. Polly made a funny face at it and headed inside to the kitchen for a carrot. It really is great that people invented country houses.